the January 30th, 2020, Star Trek Picard Episode 2, Maps and Legends, continues last week's episode with them spoilers review because it's a rundown of it. The opens with the Utopia Planitia, blah blah. The Utopia Planitia fleet yard's under attack 14 years earlier in 2385 in April. So it establishes that. So that is which is consistent with Cillian space and possibly the Everson timeline, but not exactly. It's sort of its own thing a little bit. 2385 would have been that time period of the Marshall Sportiest and the College of Loonies stuff going on. It could have happened behind the scenes. Nobody was looking, I guess. Been important to Starfleet, but not to the College of Loonies people who were running around looking to stop the Kyungi, their master. So that they were just not aware of the other stuff going on, which certainly could have been. Or it's a different timeline. Anyway, the Picard story. So then we cut to 14 years later, and we have Picard's Romulan assistants who apparently know of this the earlier version of the Tal Shiar that hates robots and synthetics. It's got kind of a silly name, the Silly Shiar or something. And they want to cover up elaborately the attacks on the planet. Picard then goes to Starfleet and is chewed out by an admiral who drops an F-bomb. There's a scene where a doctor comes to him that served with him on the Stargazer. We've never met him before, but he's suddenly there. Kind of sounds like Boothby, but it's not. It's somebody else. Picard's age is established as they keep seeing him. He's just saying he's old. They haven't said that some of the traits said centenarian, octogenarian. He's a nonagenarian. He's 90 something because he was born in 2305. The character was, according to Star Trek. So this story takes place in the year 2399. That would make him 94. So he's quite old. But Patrick Stewart is 78 anyway. So we continue with the story. The Borg reclamation cube thing is apparently an experiment by the Romulans, and it's not a super weapon necessarily. It's a facility for like messing with Borg drones, and there's a B plot about that. We see Hugh on a table or something that looks like Hugh, could be Hugh, from the Hugh I Borg episode. And Descent 1 and 2, and he's on the ship. We're not sure where the relic, the Borg cube, actually came from. It couldn't have been that. But yeah, I'm assuming it's probably the one that got blown up a little bit at the end of 2378, where it didn't explode all the way, and it's that one. You would think Starfleet would have captured it, but not the Romulans. But okay, it's probably what it is. Because it wouldn't be the one from First Contact necessarily, unless because I think that one completely exploded, but the one from the other one didn't completely explode. The sphere shot out of it, and then the sphere had the Voyager inside it. It was the end of Voyager in early 2378 or late 2377. So I don't think they were paying that much attention when they wrote this about Star Trek. There's a nod to Picard not liking science fiction, which is poppycock, frankly. And as an Asimov book, it's reading. There's the Admiral is in league with the Commodore lady for her own reasons and agenda, similar to, I guess, the hiding servers and information, kind of like Hillary. I guess he's sort of a Hillary. The Commodore lady is sort of a turncoat, clearly a double spy for this other organization that no one's heard of. It's not Section 31. The Red Letter Media guys were wrong. It wasn't that. They might be working indirectly with them, but no, it's this other group that's got a silly name. The Shivyar or something. the Sylviar. Yeah, they're from the Space Time Eye. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's another series entirely. It's not Silly Track, but it's using other Silly Tracks. It's one of the stories. It's not that, but yeah. Scott from church thought that 7 of 9 is in this episode. No, she's in the next one. She's not in this one. So there's double spies everywhere. It's basically like the first season of Discovery in this part, because they're kind of like doing things and discovering the map thing, and that does beg the question though, when they go over the plot hole from the last episode and try to find out what was going on in the background. And at the other site, Picard is a clever spy assistant that somehow is there. They also that the other people on the rooftop wouldn't have seen that, like an explosion and all that. Other people would have seen that. What did they do with them? They erased their minds too. They would have seen that. They were right there in the convention center. It's like, I was like, come on, they would have seen. Anyway, so yeah. What else is there? He tries to get a ship. He tries to get another ship, and he meets the lady that was his first officer from 2385. Apparently the supernova is ongoingly exploding, so it's like 2385, 2387 something, and it's ongoing exploding but not exploding. I don't get how that works. Did it explode earlier than 2387? Because or did they just know that it was going to explode earlier, and then that didn't make sense. So I guess that'll be revealed later. Yeah, and she goes to the first officer, gives her the wine from 2386. Yeah. So the other first officer lady looks like kind of like the Jodie Follett character from. Actually, no, she looks like Sabrina from Silly Track. The Sabrina character. She's a little more dark skinned. She looks more like Sabrina, which is funny. That his first officer would be her. That's probably not likely though. So no, she would be the lieutenant girl from earlier. So they mixed up some of the characters. They got the Commodore's lieutenant, who's in on the spy ring, and she's secretly a Romulan. Spoiler, really obvious. The Commodore's a Romulan, or I guess a half Vulcan Romulan. Then we got who looks more like the Jodie character, but then the other one looks more like from Silly Track. Clearly, they've been reading Silly in Space, but that's fine. So that's my review of maps and Legends. Legends, I would say, the Picard shows up in Legends, and they showed a lot of vehicles from Discovery in this, as the Trek Yards people already pointed out. So it was all right. It's fine. It's closer to TNG than Discovery was closer to Kirk's era. So still has potential. It's not a train wreck. The parody of it should be hilarious because, of course, we can put our Cillians in those places of these characters that are being introduced. Anyway, so that's it.